Moving on to the last topic of the day, pretty lengthy episode, is talk about the rookie sensation, Lamelo Ball, having a good season so far, starting now for the Charlotte Hornets. I think he's putting up close to 13, I think like 5 boards, 6 assists a game.
Right.
Nick Young came out with a quote like 2 months ago saying he's a top 10 point guard. So what do y'all?
That's why he's out the league.
Austin, how do you feel about Lamelo Ball's in that top 10 spot yet?
I have to say no, and that's not looking down on his talent. I think he is a phenomenal point guard, especially for being a rookie. I mean, he's got Rookie of the Year locked up unless he gets some sort of brutal injury, which I don't foresee happening. There's nobody. The only other 2 people that are even in contention for Rookie of the Year, if LaMelo hits a bad slump or gets hurt, or Emmanuel Quickly and Tyrese Halliburton. But I don't put him in top 10 because of his age. I don't think any rookie is going to come in and be a top 10 player at their position their first year unless you're a generational talent. I think my top 10 right now goes, and this is my own bias, I've got Damian Lillard as the best point guard in the NBA. That's a hot take that I've sat on for a while. I think he's better than Curry. I've got Curry at number 2 for the Curry fans out there that got their panties in a bunch for him not being number 1. With the change of Kyrie moving to the shooting guard position and Harden moving to the 1, I've got him at 3 just because Harden played really good as a point guard. I just think I think he has more of an effect on the game when he plays at the 2 because he's out there dropping 35 pretty close at the 2. He still scores a lot, but he has fallen a little bit more into that passing role. His assists are up. His shot attempts per game are down slightly. And so I've got Westbrook at 4. He's been hot lately. I think he's averaging a triple-double again over the last 2 or 3 weeks of the NBA, close to 23 points, 10 boards, then close to 11 assists. That's what Westbrook does. Because of that alone, he's going to be in the top 5. He's just averaging that triple-double. I don't think he's averaging a triple-double overall for the season quite yet. I think he's close, but he's not
around
where
there.
he was. He's not where he was in 2017, where he averaged it. Number 5, I've got Luka. If you classify him as a point guard, some people are going to debate that. Is he a point guard? Is he a small forward? I classify him as a point guard because he does play their point guard position. Now, I know people are going to say, well, LeBron plays point guard for the Lakers. He did. He doesn't now. That's Dennis Schroeder. So that's why I'm not going to have LeBron on this list, but I am going to have Luka on this list because he is their point guard. Number 6, I've got Chris Paul because, Chris Paul, all-time point guard. He is the reason why the Suns are doing as good as they are doing.
Second in the West.
Exactly. Second in the West for a team that wasn't really that great last year and has been kind of
for a long
on the
time.
cusp. They've been on the cusp kind of the playoffs for the last 6 years. They haven't really hit on their drafts. They had Dragon Bender, which was a bust of a pick. DeAndre Ayton, don't get me wrong, he's not bad by any means. He's not a number 1 overall pick in my eyes the way he plays. I've got Chris Paul at 6 because he's just making everybody around him better. He's got his defensive presence, his leadership, the fact that he can make for anybody on that team and get somebody an open shot. Chris Paul being on the court literally makes the game just hit your open shots.
Yep.
Number 7, I got Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is still, in my eyes, an underrated point guard in the league. He really broke out 2 seasons ago. And since then, I think he's maintained his status as a top 10 point guard. I mean, he's averaging over 20. I think he's averaging close to 22 this year. Him and Jokic are a really good duo over there in Denver. I don't think
50.
Yeah, I mean, he's underrated, but I think he constitutes in a top 10. I wouldn't say top 5 yet. Maybe in a couple of years when some of these people that are in the top 5 either take a step down, retire, start playing worse, something like that. Maybe he jumps up, but right now I got him at 7. Number 8, I got Trey Young, and this pains me a little bit to put him there because I was so adamant that Trey Young would be a bust coming into the NBA.
Yeah.
I really thought that his turnover numbers in college, where he was averaging close to 8 turnovers a game, was really going to hurt him in the NBA. And not only did that not hurt him, but his turnovers are cut down more than in half, I believe. He's one of the best passers in the league. He's averaging 26.5 points a game right now, which how he wasn't an all-star over Mike Conley, that doesn't make sense to me, but he wasn't, but he should have been. But he's having a great year for the Hawks. He's their guy for the future. I mean, he'll be the point guard there unless there's a situation where he wants out. He'll be their point guard there for the next 10 years. Number 9, I have Ben Simmons. And Ben Simmons would be top 5 on this list if he could shoot a consistent, I would just say jump shot, not even three-pointer, just a consistent jump shot. I think he would be top 5, maybe, and I wouldn't even say he would be 5. But the fact that he can't shoot just puts him lower on the list. I mean, he has an effect on the game. He's averaging, him and Chris Paul are the only 2 point guards on this list that are averaging less than 20. But Chris Paul's playmaking has a great effect on the game, much like Ben Simmons' size and his ability he's a matchup nightmare. And his presence on the court with being 6'10" at the point guard spot just gets him a lot of easy layups. And that's just easy scoring for the Sixers alongside Embiid, who is the MVP in my eyes right now. And him being there with that size just really elevates everybody else on the court because of how much of a nightmare. They all focus on trying to stop him, which opens up everything else on the court. And then the last point guard I have at number 10 is Darren Fox. Now, Darren Fox is another person like Jamal Murray who I think is severely underrated in this league. He's averaging 23 points. He doesn't get talked much about, and that's because he's in Sacramento. If he was on a different team, I think he'd get a lot more recognition. He would be considered he would be widely considered a top 10 point guard, and I don't think he'd be 10. And the fact that this man is just so fast that he, kind of like Ben Simmons, not much because of the size, but because of the speed and athleticism, creates some mismatches. Kind of like how John Wall was in his prime back in the Wizards, where he was just so fast off that first step, where he was just able to get by anybody. Darren Fox is just, he's somebody, I would put him over Lamelo because of that alone. And Lamelo, I would put at 11 probably, because there's no other point guards that could really argue that could be right under Darren Fox at 11, which is where I'd put Lamelo. He's averaging 15.8 a game. He's averaging 6 rebounds and 6 assists since he's started on the Hornets. He's a prototypical point guard in this league where he's oversized. He can shoot. He's not the best defender, but he's got the length to do so, which will bail him out in certain situations where he doesn't play the best defense, but because he's got a gigantic wingspan at the 1, it's going to give him some better, it's going to favor him more. And like Trey Young, he's one of the best passers in the league. His playmaking ability was his biggest strength outside of his height at the position coming into the NBA. I mean, that's always what people have regarded him as when he played at Chino Hills and when he played overseas, is that his vision is phenomenal. I mean, he makes flashy passes with the best of them, and his ability to get people open, it kind of reminds me of Chris Paul. When somebody's open, LaMelo's going to hit them. The only knock on LaMelo right now, and he's shooting better as of late, is his shooting, which is crazy because when he was growing up as younger, before Lonzo was in the league, we all saw that he was this crazy shooter shooting from half court. Fact. And I believe I haven't looked at the numbers in the last week or so, but last time I checked, I want to say he was shooting close to 31% from 3, something around that range. I think that's jumped a little bit in in the last week or so. So he's improving on the shooting. I don't think he's going to change his jump shot, but I think next season, if he plays better than he's playing now, I would have him at top 10. And, I wouldn't put him at top 10 just yet.
Okay.
Where's my boy Shy at, man?
He's a 2 guard, man.
She's a shooting guard.
Well, he run the 1 this year.
Y'all got Dort running the 3 at sometimes.
I mean, we got Shy running the 1 this year, but he is a shooting guard.
I think Shy is a 2. If Shy was a 1, he would be up there.
Well, he runs the 1 because George Hill's been out, but yeah. Go ahead, Justin.
I would definitely. I agree with Austin's whole list, except for one. This was mine, not in any particular order. Steph, Dame, Trey Young, Luka, Russ, Ben Simmons, Chris Paul, Harden, Jamal Murray, and Jamal Morant. That's mine.
Ja
It's
is who I
like
would have put in there, except
For Luka, if you don't want to classify Luka as a point guard, Ja would have been up there.
Jamal Morant. He's just a dog. We've seen it last year. We're continuing to see it this year. He's leading this Grizzlies team. Well, they're 10th in the West, but like we were talking about before, I think there's going to be a play-in for the playoffs at the end of the
he's
season.
got no hope. It's all Ja.
It's all in. But do I see them making it in? Nah. But they need to get him some help, especially because his boy Jared Jackson has not been playing. And if Jared Jackson was playing, they're above the Mavericks and they're above the Spurs, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they would be 7th seed fighting for playoff contention. Because that would be a legit squad to not fear, but a legit squad to make the playoffs. They just need, besides Jared Jackson, they need to go out and get them a piece. But everything else I agree with for sure. Chris Paul, I've been saying this. We're all talking about wherever LeBron goes, they're a championship team. But what about wherever Chris Paul goes? Wherever Chris Paul goes, success goes. Simple as that. Simple as that. Now, he's not going to lead them to a finals just because he's smaller. LeBron is more bigger, stronger, obviously. But he's like a mini, like LeBron is a taller Chris Paul. A taller and bigger Chris Paul. That's it. That is literally it. And except Chris Paul can shoot better, obviously. But literally, if Chris Paul was, how tall is Chris Paul right now? 6'6".
I think he's 6'1", or maybe he's like
6'1".
6, or he's like 6
3/4, something like that. He's undersized for the modern NBA.
If Chris Paul was 6'6", 6'7", he'd be on the same level as LeBron. He'd be on the same level as LeBron. He'd be going to championships too, just because the IQ, him and LeBron's IQ, they play the exact same, just one is shorter.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, the crazy thing with
Chris Paul, don't get me wrong,
he can dribble the basketball,
but he's never been one. You don't think of him as fancy handles. He doesn't sit there and string together dribble combos to get open. He does the simple things, the fundamentals. He does what. He's like Tim Duncan. He does the fundamentals, and he just does the easy stuff, which gets everybody open. Everybody plays better. And I agree with what you said. You know, wherever Chris Paul goes, success goes. Every team he's been to, whether it was on the Hornets, the Clippers,
the Thunder, and now in the Suns, he has made
everybody on those teams play better. I think one of the big reasons for Shai's emergence or breakout was the fact that once he got to OKC, he had Chris Paul there who really mentored him. And
I don't think
Shai's a bad player by any means. I think if Chris Paul wasn't ever on the Thunder, I think Shai would be slightly worse. But I think because of the fact that that Chris Paul was there, he's elevated Shai a lot more. And that's just a testament to what he can do. I mean, he's elevating everybody. He's elevating scrubs on the Suns. Outside of Ayton and Booker, he's elevating role players and scrubs to play
better than what they regularly would,
just because he's on the court.
And it's funny because at the end of the season, like when this trade happened, everybody was like, "Oh, why would you trade for Chris Paul? The Suns were just getting it together. They were on an 8-0 streak at the end of the bubble. This and that." You think that Suns team without Chris Paul was going to do something this year?
And this is without T.J. Warren that they're doing this.
If T.J. Warren's in the lineup, I think they may be the one seed if T.J. Warren is there, because T.J. Warren can get you 15 to 20 a game.
Isn't T.J. Warren on the Pacers?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind. I totally forgot.
He's on the Pacers. He's been out for this whole season.
You forgot. But it's like, yeah, if Chris Paul was 6'6", 6'7", he'd be doing the same thing LeBron is doing. Same thing, going to find.
People feel the same way about Kyrie. He would be the next Kobe if he was 6'6". But
you don't. I think
that's more Damian Lillard.
I think
Dame got
Nah,
that. Dame got.
I
more
say
of a
I said
killer
Kobe
than
because of
Kyrie.
more of that the mid range game. Kyrie got that mid range game like Kobe already.
I can see that from that standpoint.
Standpoint, yeah, maybe. I think,
Okay.
yeah, I said Dame because Dame, I think, is the closest thing we got to that Mamba mentality. You can
But
argue
others,
he
he's
has
a
the
killer.
Mamba mentality.
He got more of a killer than I don't think anybody I've seen in the
No,
NBA
I don't think
right
there's a single person in the league that can
Rival his closing ability in a game.
now. Not even close. Not even close.
But
But
for me, I got top 10. This is not in order. Well, besides one, I got Curry 1. Everybody else is not in order. Harden, Luka, Ben, Dame, Drew, CP3, Jamal Murray,
Drew Holiday.
he's underrated.
Drew
I
Holiday,
don't think I wouldn't say top 10.
Darren
He's underrated.
Fox, Westbrook, Malcolm Brogdon. You're sweeping on Malcolm Brogdon, averaging 22 this year, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, shooting 38% from 3, 45% from the field at point guard now. He's slept on. He probably could have been all-star possibly.
That's hot.
But
That's hot.
he slept on. Lamelo, I got him outside top 10 clearly from the list. Him and John Wall are close to me just off this year. They could go back and forth with 11 and 12 spot. So Lamelo, he's a great young point guard. I liked him. I always knew he would be the best ball brother because he's the youngest. I just had a feeling. I could just see he was going to be the best, especially when he went to Lithuania to play basketball overseas. That really helped him in his game a lot. Now he's back in the States, back in the NBA. He's in the NBA, averaging, like you said, close to 16, 6 boards, 6 assists. Those are great numbers for a rookie point guard in this NBA, which fits, like you said, the prototype for the point guard position. But this year, he's not top 10 yet. I'd probably say he needs to work on the defensive side. That's probably the biggest thing for me. Just because most of them, besides Dame and Curry and Harden and Luka, the other side of the ball for them, that's really what put it over them, over LaMelo Ball in the top 10 spot. Like, Drew Holiday, CP3's leadership and defense. And you have Darren Fox. He plays solid defense. Ben Simmons, we all know how good he is. Westbrook, he's a hustler. So it's like his defensive side of the ball, that's where he needs to work on. He's worked on his efficiency. People didn't think he would be that efficient this year, but he's not shooting bad. He's shooting 37% from 3 right now. He was off to a slow start in the beginning, but he fixed it. And people were saying the jump shot wouldn't translate either, like they were saying with Tyrese Halliburton, but it's clearly translated for both of them. So it's going to be exciting watching Lamelo. I think he'll be top 10 in the future for sure.
Most definitely.
So
right now, I'd probably put him at 14. He's top 15.
So let me ask you something real quick, Jalen.
You've got Drew Holiday over Trey Young in the top 10.
I heard you correctly.
Well, I said it wasn't in order. I mean,
Drew
Holiday. I didn't hear you say Trey Young's name, and I heard Drew Holiday.
Oh.
Well, I meant to put Trey Young. Well, you said Shai's not a point guard, so I took Shai out and I put Drew in. I forgot about Trey Young. Trey Young, he could be top 10. He could be top 10.
And I like Drew Holiday's defense.
I don't think Drew Holiday at this point in his career. I think in his late Sixers, his early
Pelican days.
Yeah, for sure. You could argue that he would be an underrated top 10 point guard. But now,
15,
sure, but
I just don't think he has that effect. I mean,
he's just a good defender. He'll give you some points. I just don't think he has the effect. I mean, I would put Malcolm Brogdon over him too. I forgot about Malcolm Brogdon. I would have went between him and Darren Fox at 10 if I
realized how good
Brogdon was doing. But the thing is, Brogdon, I don't know.
And I forgot Jamal Morant.
You never hear about Brogdon, so
I didn't realize how good he was doing.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Real underrated. That's crazy. But yeah, had ourselves a good little episode today, y'all. Thank you Austin, for being on this episode with us. Definitely gotta get you back in here. We talk them football talks.
For sure,
But
for sure.
until then, it's your boys Juice and Lou and Austin, and we out of here. Peace. Okay.
Yo, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, turn post notifications on so you know when we post next. All right, peace.
Molly off the drum, I got